Wake up, Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Y'all got Kool-Aid hot.
Fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener.
Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm, because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
Hey, what up, though, people? Welcome to Wake Up Woodward. Woo! Feels good to be back with the crew. It's your boy Brandon Day, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter, writer for the network. Flannel Sam, the vet of the squad, the vet of the network. All sports knowing Red Wings correspondent. Get Flannel to the NHL All-Star game next season. Yes. It's gotta happen, bro. What up, though, man?
Hey, good to have you back. I know you've got some videos that you're gonna share with the rest of the crew and with the chat in just a couple of minutes. Looking forward to seeing those and further recapping your experience at the All-Star game. But yeah, we've got a lot to talk about today, and it's good to have. We've got ourselves a full house today.
Hey, a full house. You know what? I saw the prep sheet. The show sheet, so I think I came prepared. You want to tell the people what's on the menu?
A lot of TLB.
A lot of TLB.
The theme, though, of the show is defensive players, because we got a couple of them on their journeys back from injury that we're going to discuss. We're going to talk about someone that I think we all want, and a Lion made a very public push that at least he is very open to the idea of Myles Garrett, just to put it lightly. And we're also going to talk a little bit of Tigers, because a lineup was posted on our social media that may end up being true, may end up having some changes, but we want to know from all of you guys in the chat, is this lineup good enough to get the Tigers to the playoffs when you consider everything with their pitching, the lineup, all inclusive? And I'm curious to see your guys' thoughts, and I'm curious to get everybody else's thoughts in the room, because I know mine.
I am excited about the Tigers topics. I can't wait to turn it up a little bit more because they're right around the corner.
Yeah.
They are right around the corner. I remember
Open
last
day.
year, as a show, being able to open, it was epic, and I'm looking forward to it this year. And shout out to the rest of the crew as well. Willie B in the sound booth, man.
What's happening right here?
What up, though, man? Love the shirt, man. Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth, that is JB Smooth. What up, though, brother?
Yo, what's going on, fellas?
Hey, Cavassier Chase. What up, though, man?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Good morning.
And you know what, KG, as always, you crushed it on the desk, man.
Appreciate it.
You crushed it on the desk. And now you crushing on the social team as well.
Hey, appreciate that, man. I mean, you got some nerve showing up back here after not returning no calls and text Hollywood. But, you know, it's cool. We glad to have you back. You know, you back with the normal people now. So it's cool.
Hey, you know what, man? All of us are on the way. Like I told y'all when I walked in, Flannel has fans out there, y'all. He has fans. They're like, hey, man. Like, first, Ashton's brother was like, can I get a picture of Flannel? I was like, yeah, of course. Like, yeah. And then out there, a couple people was like, man, yo, I tapped into you guys' show. Been tapped in for some time. Hey, keep doing your thing. Tell Flannel this, tell Flannel that. It's cool stuff, man, to see that what we're doing right here is making a difference. And that's why I said before, being in that room, it was a combination of everything we've done and some of the other people who have contributed as well in the past.
Love to hear it. Love to see it. And you know what else I would love to see? Some of those videos that you got from out west. I know we got a couple of them in Slack.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How was that experience out there?
The experience was productive. That's what I can say the most, man. It was going out there and trying to have the most professional mindset to be able to represent Woodward Sports on that stage, because that's who's credentialed. It's the network. And it was cool to walk up and see, you know, Woodward Sports Network, and where I was sitting, it was just behind David Aldridge, and it was with some other pretty cool media professionals. Mike Curtis, Cody Davis, and some of the others, Vinny Goodwill, Hunter Patterson, some of the other beat writers from this area. Well, I know Mike is with Dallas now. They were kind of in my section too, so we hung most of the time. And the coolest thing was how Pistons PR made sure to look out for our ability to be able to talk to Cade Cunningham one-on-one. Like when I talked about Kyrie Irving's scrum being huge, Kay Cunningham, it wasn't as you know, as many media people there as Kyrie's, but Cage was still pretty deep, man. And so it was cool to see that, but for Pistons PR as well to say, hey, come on over here, guys, and let us ask our own questions with Kay, which you'll continue to see some of this footage as we continue to go. But this was the thing that I loved. Kay was like, he really fell in love with the process of the things that go behind the scenes that you really don't see. Growing up, you didn't have social media that showed kind of this compartment of it. And he did a lot of this stuff, getting out and just kind of be present for the fans, being amongst the fans, being amongst those in need. And it was a lot of Kay Cunningham saying, you know what, I'm glad to be on the stage. But it was nothing shaken about him, man. He was very confident. He believed that this was long overdue for himself, but that this was a goal that he set this year, that along with playoffs. And he was talking real big, man, just winning championships. That's what he wants. But he did have a shout out to the fans as well. Do you have the Kay Cunningham clip in there, JB Smooth?
Yeah, I got a bunch of them. I'm not too sure which one you meant.
Let me see. There's one. It might be about 40 seconds long. It's him at the press conference table. And he was just talking about, you know, I asked him the question about how many votes he received versus Blake Griffin. And his answer was pretty cool vote of confidence for the fans.
All right, I think I got it.
Okay, you had over 860,000 votes. Blake Griffin before you, the last Piston All-Star, had 640. How does it feel to know that the fans showed up for you and that there's a lot of Detroit Pistons fans back home ready to root you on in your first appearance?
Yeah, it feels great. It feels great to play for the Pistons. Obviously, we have a super passionate fan base, but you know that definitely plays into, you know, the commitment to the organization, to the city, is the amount of love that they give back to you. So all of it plays a huge role, and why I'm so passionate about the Pistons and, you know, the city and the organization.
There's
so
another one that's
it's fun. I'm
23
glad I get to
seconds.
represent.
Hey.
JB, I was going to say there's another one that's 23 seconds long. It has the NBA All-Star logo on there.
Oh, yeah.
The NBA, every single day, they picked one highlight of the day from each of the All-Stars, and that wound up being their highlight of the day, if you have that one.
Yep.
Yeah, it feels great. It feels great to play for the Pistons. Obviously, we have a super passionate fan base, but you know that definitely plays into, you know, the commitment to the organization, to the city, is the amount of love that they give back to you. So all of it plays a huge role, and why I'm so passionate about the Pistons and, you know, the city and the organization. And so it's fun. I'm glad I get to represent.
And that was K the entire weekend. Yeah, I've heard for years that these players go to the All-Star games to try and talk to other players, to try and see what their future may be. But every time K got an opportunity, he made sure to talk about either a Detroit Piston, the city, or what he's proud to represent and that he wants to win right here. And that, to me, is what, when we think back to Grant Hill, this was a guy who, he was here. When we think back to Blake Griffin, he was here. Did they necessarily want to be?
Well, it turns out probably not.
Probably not. And that, to me, was what was on full display. The game didn't really provide an opportunity, in my opinion, for him to put his stardom on display. But the weekend, it definitely did. And people were intrigued by Kay Cunningham. They were intrigued by what the Pistons are doing right now. And ultimately, they just wanted to shower him and Asar Thompson all the love back on our teammates and the fans here in Detroit.
Am I wrong in saying that Cade Cunningham, even though it's not a prerequisite, it's not a requirement of me to love him like I currently do, but the fact that he strikes me as a humble star and a humble future superstar, that's just going to endear him to even more people across the NBA, more people across Detroit, a little bit of a throwback, because some people in the NBA don't necessarily have the greatest reputation amongst average, ordinary people, and I think Cade Cunningham is the type to bridge that gap. Not that I care too much, but it's just striking how about the city and about the people and just how humble he comes across.
You know what? There is a Piston guard that Cade Cunningham is always referred to now, compared to, or will he reach the stature? And that's Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
But the things you're talking about, they remind me of another Pistons guard in his backcourt mate, Joe Dumars. That quiet confidence, that confidence in both his defensive and his offensive ability, his ability to lead. When I look back at Joe Dumars' clips, they say he was always quiet. But when I looked at his interviews, he would sit and say things about Michael Jordan, like, are you guys, nervous what he can do to your defense? He called you out. No, I'm not. We know exactly what we're going to do. And it was just this cool, calm, collected, humble demeanor, but it was sure confidence in what he was going to do. And when I think about Joe Dumars and what I got to experience with Cade Cunningham and before in these press conferences, how he carries himself, That to me is what it is. And I do believe that it makes him relatable and likable. Then when you see him step out there on the court and make the game look very easy, that to me is where it's at. I talked to so many fans that were not from Detroit who were like, yeah, man, it's crazy. Like, we thought that he might have been slow or this or that, in terms of his speed. We didn't think his handle was like this. And then all of a sudden he's dunking on our favorite players. And that to me was where it's like, you know what, Cade Cunningham, he's just at the beginning of his ascent as it relates to his national and his global stardom. He had one of the larger crowds for the international. We weren't even supposed to sneak in there.
Wow.
Business PR was like, man, y'all can't be in there. Wait out there real quick. So we had to go back out, but it was interesting to see.
Unbelievable. So it sounds like to you, as somebody who was there, that Cade Cunningham acquitted himself very well. Obviously, we didn't get to see enough on the court as people who weren't there, but that's why I'm glad that we have your perspective as somebody who could see the things that we weren't able to.
It was epic, man. It was epic. And to be able to kind of be first to some of this media hitting the social media waves and such, shout out to Travis, Justin, and everybody else who played a role in helping socials go. Those guys did a heck of a job, and I would just be remiss if I didn't shout them out again and shout you out. And people like you guys, Freddie Felt, Devin the Dog, and others who contacted me directly, like, hey, man, we're rooting for you. We're looking at you from afar. The chat family, man, as always, y'all are the most important part of this thing, man. So shout out to you guys.
Anything else, JB, that you haven't shown yet that you want to get on display for the people of what Kool-Aid saw in San Francisco?
Yeah, there's a couple videos here.
Absolutely.
I'll play a little few of them just for you guys to see. Check this out. Kool-Aid. I'm thinking you're just walking into All-Star Weekend, but I don't know exactly. So let's see.
Hey, what up, though, people? It's your boy Detroit Kool-Aid, Woodward Sports All-Star 2025. Man, it's been a vibe. It's been a vibe. Boots on the ground has been epic, man. Just talking to the fans, being able to talk to Cade Cunningham and all of the different press conferences. Shout out to Pistons PR and their hospitality. Hunter from the Athletic. Cody Davis from the Detroit News was out here as well. Vinny Goodwill from Yahoo. So Detroit has some representation, some great coverage, man. Shout out to my guy Travis as well for helping me push All-Star Weekend via Woodward Sports. If you haven't already, go ahead and check out the YouTube. Go ahead and check out all the social media at Woodward Sports. It's a lot of good coverage there. Once again, congratulations, Cade Cunningham, on your first All-Star appearance. Let's go. Hey, bro, talk to me about Cade Cunningham. I heard your question. You still on his head. You still on his head about not passing the ball.
I just feel like he don't pass the ball enough. And Cade, if you watching this, there's a difference of passing it because people are guarding you. You know what I'm saying? When he got an open shot, he take it. Don't take all your open shots. Pass the ball, bro. Don't pass it because you got to. Pass it because you just love to. Like, it could be an open three, nobody on him. And then he just shoots it. Bro, stop doing that shooting shit. You know what I mean? You need probably, what? You need like 7 field goal attempts a game. You should have
7.
22 is too much, bro.
22 shot attempts too much. But
hey,
7.
If you watching this, you heard what I said.
Hey,
10 at least.
Hey, bro, but any advice for his first All-Star appearance?
I feel like pass the ball. Don't shoot.
Thank you, bro. Pass the ball.
Hey, what do you think about the new format? Hey, why don't you like to pass the ball?
Pass the ball, man. We talked about this before. And you remember that.
You got beautiful eyes.
Kate, what do you think about the new format of the All-Star game? What do you think about the new format of the NBA, the All-Star game?
I think it's interesting. I think it'll be fun to watch.
Hey, shout out to Bleacher Report. Shout out to Funny Marco.
Pass the ball, man.
If y'all remember, man, Bleacher Report and Funny Marco and Cade Cunningham, they had that commercial they put out. And it was crazy, man. Look at that. Funny Marco, he got 5.3 million followers on Instagram, brother. Just off of these types of interviews and content and such. It was cool to see him and his ascent as well. And him and Cade Cunningham, they got some other content, commercials and things like that will be coming out later, man. He is a comedian. There were so many people who don't understand this, KG.
I swear.
I was so
crazy.
confused,
Shout out to Funny Marco. Big fan of his work. A lot of people in our comments don't really understand who Funny Marco is.
He's funny.
This is all satire, people. There's no need to take this guy seriously. I do get it, though. But, no, shout out to Cade and Funny Marco for making it happen. I can't wait for the new content. It's gonna be
I can't wait, man. But, yeah, it was a cool environment. And a lot of why I want to go to Vegas, it was on display there, and I really want to get back. The media cafes, like being in the background of some of the bigger broadcasts. Like, we'll be in the background of TNT at Vegas, like, hey, what up, though? being able to do the content, interact with people, and all of the different parties and events. You know, that's the part of it that I'll tell you guys off air.
Yeah.
That's the type
My
of
man
stuff
going to
that's
private parties,
I know,
not
right?
secret parties.
That's a hey. Look, that you know what?
Look, Diddy
WUW
wasn't
Crew
out
to
of jail.
Vegas.
Masquerades.
It was.
It's no baby oil
Diddy
involved.
party.
Look, Diddy
Whoa.
wasn't out of jail. Just saying.
Just asking. You know.
The only thing I was missing was a hot lather neck shaves.
Ah,
That was
I
it.
bet you would.
well, we're going to talk about that at some point during the show because Lady Jane's is still a sponsor. But I think on that note, go ahead.
Wait, sponsors. Shout out to Planet Fitness.
Yes.
They were the sponsor, our lead sponsor of All-Star Weekend. So shout out to them.
Hey, shout out, of course, unbelievable. And speaking of sponsors, I gotta tell you about Planet Fitness because we got we got a TLB when we get back for sure because there's a video that I saw yesterday that almost brought tears to my eyes, and I think you know what it is. It's Planet Fitness. It's fitness that fits your budget. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. Did you know that all Planet Fitness memberships include fitness training for no extra cost? Want all the perks? Upgrade to the PF Black Card and enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited use of the Black Card Spa featuring hydro massage, massage chairs and total body enhancement, and more, along with access to over 2,500 locations worldwide and unlimited guest privileges. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or planetfitness.com.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports.
Make some money.
Do yourself a favor, scan that QR code on screen, use code word Woodward1000. You can deposit up to $1,000, but all you have to do is place a minimum of a $20 bet, and you know what? If it doesn't hit, they'll throw it right back into your account with no questions asked. It's Caesar Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of us here at Woodward Sports. MS, she was playing tonight. Hey, make some money, baby.
Hey, what up, though, JB Smooth? I see you got on the Sparty hoodie as well, man.
You know I had to wear the Spartan hoodie today. Shout out. It's not a basketball hoodie, but still, it is what it is.
And I wasn't here to celebrate it, but Michigan sweeps Ohio State and everything, huh?
You damn right.
Everything. Yesterday we had to give both of the major college programs a shout out because of what they both did over the weekend. Tom Izzo breaking the record, Michigan being first in the Big Ten, and they got a big showdown on Friday. Oh my goodness. The get-in price I saw is like $150 some, so I might be skipping that one, but I'm gonna see.
Look at that flannel. No, you're not.
He's gonna make it there.
Wife, I gotta pay for this.
I gotta do
Tell
it.
the wife now.
Wife, I gotta go.
Hey, get the content.
Hey, there we go. That'll be my motivation.
Hey, but you know what? Talk about Michigan. Aidan Hutchinson, man. Hey, I saw Joey send that into the group chat so fast, and it instantly blew up everywhere.
Yeah.
When they talk about everybody eats, anybody everywhere who posted that footage did numbers because it's Aidan Hutchinson. Just the magnitude of that player being back. We once had wide dreams of, hey, if we make the Super Bowl, Aidan Hutchinson can come running out there and give us at least some type of motivational lift. But seeing that video yesterday, seeing him running in the practice facility, Flannel Sam, I have to ask you first. First. We already know, man, this is your guy.
Yes, it is.
Now, what is the first and the initial reaction, brother?
Well, before, please show it. Look at this. The man is sprinting. Ain't it beautiful? It's going to bring tears to my eyes just looking at it. That's only approximately 4 months after his devastating leg injury in week 6 of the NFL season. And what I like about this, I know some people commented on his running form being a little bit clunky, but I don't necessarily look a lot into that because it is February 18th right now. The season starts in a little less than 7 months. This tells me right here that he's going to get a full offseason, a full training camp, OTAs, no matter what he chooses to participate in. It's not going to be a rehab summer because a leg injury like that, you're actually able to heal from quicker than, say, what Alim McNeil is attempting to heal from. More on that later, by the way. I love to see it, and I hope that Aidan Hutchinson comes back next season with a hunger and a drive that even usurps what he had in previous years. And we already know he's a monster because I know just by knowing the competitor that he is, at least from afar, I obviously don't know him. You got to see a little bit of an insight into that on the Taylor Lautner podcast, by the way. That was a great watch. But he feels, and I know he probably feels, that he missed out on personal accolades, team accomplishments. Like, I think he probably feels like he could have made a difference in that Washington game. And I also think he probably knows that if he would have finished the season and had that Defensive Player of the Year already wrapped up, that he would be the highest paid defensive end in the history of football right now. And because of that injury, a lot of that was taken from him. I just hope that he comes back stronger than ever and he has a monster full season and the Lions get to where they want to go, which is win the Super Bowl. And I've always said, when the Lions do this, I should say if and when, but I believe they will. When the Lions do this, Aidan Hutchinson is going to be one of the biggest reasons why, and I still believe that to this day.
And beyond even the team accomplishments, that I do believe, if it's between his personal or the team, I do believe it's the team that weighs more on him. You know why? Because he's a fan. I believe for everything that this meant for the fans, knowing how he grew up as a Lions fan, knowing what this means to be able to help push them over the top, I do believe that this is something that matters to him. When you're talking about working back from an injury like this, obviously you're going to need the medical and the science as much as they can give you, but everything that he can control, when have we ever seen him not give 110%? That's what we know about Aidan Hutchinson, and it makes me honestly encouraged. I saw people talking about his running form, and I was like, ain't that how he looked on his interception? That's just me, and I get it. Right now, he's just coming back, and a little bit of that is just kind of tongue-in-cheek jesting and joking, but I do believe, I am confident in who Aidan Hutchinson is going to be as a player. Yeah. I am. I don't have any concerns about that, any doubts about that. Part of me is wondering, like, am I being a little too overconfident in that thinking? Because that injury wasn't, it was a gruesome injury, but with it being a clean break and then being able to repair it and things of that nature, and seeing him running already, seeing him walking in the pool prior to that months ago, I'm confident that the Aidan Hutchinson we're going to see by the time they're ready to play football is going to be one that looks like the Aidan Hutchinson we saw last year.
Yeah, and the sky is the limit. We saw it in a short sample size last year, 7.5 sacks in 5 games, which, by the way, that is a 17-game pace of 25.5, which would have had him breaking the sack record by 3, the single-season sack record by 3. Obviously, I don't want to get too much into what-ifs because, as I said on a previous show, that does get a little tired at some point, but I will say this. And this is unprovable. I understand. I believe in my heart of hearts, it's just a belief, that Aidan Hutchinson would have broken the single-season sack record had he been healthy. I really do. And it's not just because of that torrid pace he was on, which helps. It was because when you look at some of the games that Aidan Hutchinson missed, he missed 2 games against the Bears, 2 against the Vikings, and 1 against Houston. Why is that significant? Caleb Williams was the most sacked quarterback in the NFL this year. C.J. Stroud was the second most sacked quarterback in the NFL this year, and Sam Darnold was the 4th. I think Aidan Hutchinson would have piled up a couple at least against those teams, because when you saw the Lions play those teams, and oh, by the way, sweep them all 5-0 even without Hutch, which was awesome. You saw Al-Qadim Muhammad get sacks. You saw Pat O'Connor get one. You saw Trevor Nowatzki get one. You saw Ezekiel Turner get a half a sack. You saw Josh Paschal get a couple. You mean to tell me that Aidan Hutchinson wouldn't have absolutely eaten against those teams, wouldn't have gotten a chance to pile up a few? And oh, by the way, I'm not even talking about the Jaguars game or the Titans game or the Indianapolis Colts game, where I think Aidan Hutchinson would have eaten as well because they got out to big leads and other teams were forced to pass. So because of all of that, I think Hutch would have broken the sack record. And because of, I say that, the sky is the limit for this year. I'm not calling for 22 and a half or bust, but I am saying that he should go into the season as one of the favorites to be Defensive Player of the Year.
Into no civilian level.
Nah, I mean, it's like one of my favorite Kanye songs, Faster, Better, Stronger. And that's what Aidan is going to come back as. And if you've been paying attention the whole time, you knew that he was ahead of schedule in terms of recovery and all the things that he's been able to do since injuring that leg. He's been able to get back out there. We saw him in the tub. Now you're seeing him running already. So I'm absolutely ecstatic as a fan, because this is somebody that, even though he missed most of the year, he still led the team in sacks, which is mind-blowing to me, when you read that stat off. But this is why I caught a lot of flack for this. I didn't want Aidan to come back like sooner than he had to. And I know a lot of people is like, KG, what are you talking about? If the team, decides it's okay, then he should come back. And I understand that part of it. And I would have trusted, whatever the Lions medical staff decided on Hutch if we were in that situation.
Just personally,
Exactly, but for somebody that's already this ahead of schedule in his recovery, I wanted him to have a full runway to be able to come back, be ready by camp this year coming up, and just be a force, man. And I would really like to see the Lions go out and get somebody to where they can take some of that pressure off of Aidan Hutchinson, because he's going to be the primary focus of most offenses, going into the next season. Now, Zadarius Smith might be able to provide him some relief, but if you go out and get a Myles Garrett, now Aidan Hutchinson can come back and be himself fully. He doesn't have to rush back. He can get that momentum back, start to learn to be on the field again, and he can just be himself. So I would like to see them do that. It's yet to be seen whether they will, but shout out to Hutch, man. He's a warrior, bro. He really is.
Shout out to Hutch, man. And even with that, there's some people who believe if you go out there and you get a Myles Garrett, there's some people who float the idea of letting go of a Zadarius Smith. For me, I'm saying I don't think that you can have too much on that defensive line right now, especially people who want to be here, people who have already shown to work here. When it was time for Zadarius Smith to step into, hey, everybody else is dropping like flies, he still maintained something. He was supposed to come here and be a complement to a defensive line that was missing Aidan Hutchinson, but was supposed to have its other parts and pieces, and then found himself leading some of the effective, like, third and fourth and fifth string of this defensive line. And so I believe, like, the usage conversation that we generally have in basketball, a Zadarius Smith on a team that has Myles Garrett and Aidan Hutchinson, that's when you're really talking about, in my opinion, playing with dynamite. Yeah. I don't think that you can have too much, especially seeing what we just went through on that defensive line.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't think you're doing this, KG, intentionally, but I will say this, and because I'm pro Zadarius Smith, I'm pro what he did when he was here. I think he was a big piece. I think when you say that Hutch, even in 5 games, led the Lions in sacks, it's a little bit misleading, because if Zadarius Smith would have played the whole season with the Lions, I think he would have had more than 7.5, because he had 9 combined with the Browns and the Lions. I don't think you meant to do that, KG.
No.
It's just that Zadarius Smith was really, really good for them last year, and even if the Lions don't make that move, I'm hoping that you can get a full season with both Hutch and Zadarius, and I hope that they can be the bookends that we need them to be. Because before the Myles Garrett possibility even became a thing, before he asked to be traded, we were all talking about full season of fully healthy Hutch and fully healthy Zadarius as being enough. Obviously now, the Myles Garrett sweepstakes, I want him for the Lions. I know that I want him for the Lions as opposed to him going to a team like the Commanders, who would be hella formidable with him. But at the same time, Hutch and Zadarius together, playing in the roles that they were both meant to be played, I don't hate that. How could you hate that?
No, it could be something special. Flannel, I was defending Z the whole entire time against, some of the people in the chat's better judgment. But I do think they can be that combo, but the age does come into question with Za'Darius. He did have 5 sacks coming to the team. So, I do get that it's a bit misleading, but the facts are the facts. He only got 4 sacks as a Lion here. And you do want to see what he can do with a Hutch on the other side and, a healthy Alim McNeil and DJ Reader. You want to see what the full complement will look like. But I'm just saying, if you have the chance to go over the top defensively, then I think that will just take so much more pressure off of Hutch to come in here and be who we already know Hutch to be.
And by the way, that is a fantastic transition because there is a Lion, one of the most prominent offensive players who did a little bit of campaigning for old Myles Garrett. And I think this is a perfect time to transition over to that and for us to give our thoughts, and we want your thoughts in the chat as well. But first, tell us about merch.
Oh, definitely. I got to tell you about some Woodward Sports merch. All you got to do is head over to woodwardsports.com, click on that shop tab. We got new designs dropping for you every single week. I done told Kool-Aid, hey, we need to get some All-Star K stuff up there right now. It don't matter if the All-Star game is over with. He is still our All-Star here in Detroit. But we got the LFG Red Wings. Yes, indeed. Red Wings t-shirts, hoodies as well, too. And you can't forget about the Woodward Tigers hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies. You know what? The season is starting up real soon, so you guys got to go over there and scoop up all the stuff as soon as you can. WoodwardSports.com, click on that shop tab, get swagged out.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Head to woodwardsports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. Woodwardsports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at woodwardsports.com.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
At Lady Jane's, we take the try of getting a haircut. Our talented stylist will deliver an industry-leading haircut, a relaxing scalp massage, my favorite, that hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. Hey,
towel placement varies.
That's what I was gonna say. Make sure you guys ask, don't suggest. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are welcome anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome. Wicked. Hey, and we are back. It is Wake Up Woodward chat family. As always, you guys are the most important part of this thing. Go ahead and smash that like button. Let's run those likes up on a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. That's right. What up, done, JB Smooth and the Titty Booth?
No, Lord.
Woodward Sports MVP, man. Hey, you know what? We got to talk about Myles Garrett and how his potential acquisition can affect the Detroit Lions in one way. I just wanted to be able to throw out there because I see something here from Weezy D313, and I know that David Montgomery has some comments as what we're going to get to, but it was just one comment from Weezy D that was pretty intriguing to me. He said, that's why you let Hutch rest for for the first 5 weeks. Defensive Player of the Year. And this is where I do believe if you get a Myles Garrett, doesn't this help us long term as it relates to Hutch being able to get up to speed? Usually when you have a player of that magnitude, you need him to get out there and hit the ground running ASAP because he is your number one. This is who you're relying on. If you had a Myles Garrett, I do believe that it allows somebody like a Hutch to be able to come along slowly this season, rather than having to go out there and have all of the pressure on them day one.
I agree with the having help is always good, especially when you're coming back from injury. But with all due respect, Weezy D313, the idea of sitting him till week 5 is insane to me. Look at what he's doing on February It's February 18th today, but whenever this video was taken, the season is about 7 months away. He's playing.
Yeah.
He's not doing any sort of
Yeah.
sitting any games out.
He gonna be ready.
But the sentiment of if you've got a stacked D-line, if you've got the bookend, which creates the greatest pass rushing duo we've ever
gotta at least
seen,
drop his usage
it takes a
starting in
lot
week
of
1.
pressure off of him because he works his ass off every single play, and he still will, but having somebody like a potential Myles Garrett on the other side will free things up for everybody, including Hutch, and vice versa, by the way. Garrett will feel pretty free, too.
I like that. And, man, you know what? I know Myles Garrett won't be blocking for David Montgomery, but D-Mont knows just how important an addition like Myles Garrett will be to the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
Man.
You got the quote, JB?
Oh, yeah, I got the video.
Oh, the video. I love it. Go ahead and play that.
If you can hear this, Myles, come on over, bro.
Absolutely love it coming from
over,
David
Bro,
Montgomery.
They've been putting on the full court press. The Detroit Lions have. Like, we've heard Amon-Ra say this, David Montgomery say this, and we saw Aidan Hutchinson and Jared Goff at the NFL Honors. Hey, talking to Myles Garrett. Hey, Detroit Lions, good on you guys. They're not. Listen, if Brad Holmes didn't know, I think he knows his players want Myles Garrett.
And the funny, I still, not to digress, but I love that video of Goff and Hutch talking to him because Hutch is just like, come on, bro.
Come on down, bro.
Love it. Love to see it. But I really like this coming from David Montgomery. And I'm going to go to the Monty angle of it really quick because we've done a lot of talk on just Myles Garrett would help the team. We've talked a lot about how he would help the team. But I really like this coming from David Montgomery because Monty is in a evolution of his career because we know as well as anybody that he is damn grateful to be a Detroit Lion. He is damn grateful to get out of the hell that was Chicago. You've seen him experience more team success, going to the playoffs both years, being a part of 2 playoff wins as games, and also getting more personal success, going from 3.9 yards per carry during his career with the Bears to 4.4 with the Lions, which proves that better offensive lines definitely can help guys like David Montgomery. But I think he also has experienced another thing which is not super familiar to him, and that is called playoff heartbreak. He's experienced it his 2 years here with a 17-point lead being blown and then the loss in the divisional round as a 1 seed. That changes people. I think that makes the urgency to get a Super Bowl even greater for somebody like David Montgomery, who has had 6 years in the NFL as a running back, and we know that running backs have a short shelf life. And not just that, in his 2 seasons with the Detroit Lions, he has missed 3 games in both of the seasons, including last year, where a late season injury clearly hampered him in the playoffs. Someone like David Montgomery, even though he's under contract for the next 3 years, does not give a damn about keeping the window long. He wants a Super Bowl. And I think a lot of people whose futures with the Lions are potentially uncertain feel the same way. And he knows as well as anybody, because he plays in the NFL, which means that he knows ball, that getting Myles Garrett on this team would damn near be unfair. I think it would give them the potential to have the best offense in the NFL and the best defense in the NFL and potentially become a historic team. Not just a Super Bowl winning team, but the type of team we talk about for years to come that has lore, not just in Detroit, but in the entire bleeping NFL. And I love that David Montgomery's doing a little bit of campaigning.
I love it because it shows how badly these players want this Super Bowl. And that, to me, is what stands out the most. They want to win.
Yeah.
This is oozing with winning. There were previous regimes where from top to bottom it just wasn't that for so many years. It was so sad to see like Megatron and Stafford in that one famous clip where they just I think Stafford just throws something and Megatron just bloops off the screen after like one of those improbable likely losses.
I think that was the Rodgers to Rodgers Hail Mary.
Yeah, it was.
Never
Not
forget.
to bring that up.
Yeah,
never forget.
And now it's like, you know, you have these players in a position to where Brad Holmes has said our goal is to win a Super Bowl, not to rebuild, not to try to win the division. Our goal is to win a Super Bowl. And I do believe that it emboldens and it further puts these players in a position of less ego, more of what's best for the team. And I do believe that if you have players that are stepping up saying these things, then I do believe that players like, who is the one saying it? You hear Amon-Ra saying it.
Yeah.
If it came down to it, because people talk about the future and all that stuff and what this will do to the pocketbook of the Lions, I believe that these players who was given everything for Detroit would restructure. I've seen lesser players do it. I've seen players do it for no Super Bowl expectations here in Detroit. I don't know why these players wouldn't. When you see them right now, going out as far as putting out the full campaign for a player who is still with another team.
But at least for the next couple of years, I don't even know who would need to restructure. Obviously, we think about Myles Garrett potentially getting a new deal, which I'm sure he wants one, but he's also made it clear that his number one priority right now is winning. He's gotten his payday, which admittedly, he's still very underpaid given his production, but he's been stuck in that dumpster fire, which is the Cleveland Browns. He's been one of the 5 best overall players in the NFL pretty much since his second or third year, and he's won absolutely bupkis. Just a couple of fluky playoff appearances. Although they did get one win, it's still, what did it turn into? A disappointing season next year, and then one other fluky playoff run down the road a couple of years later. So if he wants to win, he should come to the Detroit Lions. I truly think that it would be the best situation for him to win at, and I think, as can other teams, that the Lions can afford him, at least for now. The restructuring might have to happen down the road, but the reality is I know we've got selfless players who would potentially be willing to do that, but what if Myles Garrett just helps the Lions get one Super Bowl in the next couple of years?
At the very least.
I don't give a damn what they do after that because none of us have ever experienced it. I know that if and when it happens, maybe we'll get greedy as fans, but right now it's like, just give us one. We're the only NFC team that hasn't been to a Super Bowl. Just get us one. One Super Bowl.
All the way around, Myles Garrett works for the Detroit Lions. All the way around. Today, in the future, as it relates to how he's meshing already with effectively these players, I don't think that they're just calling out for somebody that they're not going to say, you know what, you're our brother, come on here, we got this goal in mind. You saw how they did with Zadarius Smith. Talk about a hero's welcome. That was wild, the way that the city just went hand for him, showed up at LCA. I do believe that these players looking at this from the outside looking in, we have heard other players say, no, there is a reputation about the Lions, about Dan Campbell being a player's coach and understanding what we go through. Even Zadarius Smith, the first interview he gave before he put on a Detroit Lions uniform, I think it was at the Packers game, and he was talking about effectively, like, you know, he wanted to play, but he didn't get even an opportunity to get down to his home, which had been affected by some devastating weather, and it would have been his natural bye week, and the organization said, you know what, you go ahead and do that, we got your back, even though they still had a desperate need for his services. And that type of stuff reverberates all across the league. And when you talk about playing for an organization like the Browns and you have the Lions just in your backyard, in the better state at that, it's just like, why wouldn't you want to come to the Detroit Lions, who are just on the edge of breaking through for a Super Bowl?
Absolutely, breaking through for a Super Bowl. And it was the Texans game, by the way, because I remember him doing that interview. It was on Sunday Night Football with everybody, and we all know what happened in that game. Kind of an improbable win, thanks in large part to the defense, even without Zadarius Smith. And this brings me to a point made by Desert Stallion. Flannel. Eagles had 41 sacks with basically all starters healthy. Our Lions had 37 with rotation of guys off couch. I don't think people realize just how dominant we were despite all injuries. I don't know what point you're trying to make with it, if it means that with even Hutch back with Zadarius that we'll be fine even without Myles Garrett. But here's the reality. I think the Lions have to take all precautions, especially coming off of what they experienced, which was an injury-ravaged season. That's why you need to go out and get somebody like a Myles Garrett, just in case another injury happens. You've got more elite players, because at the end of the day, all those regular season numbers and those regular season games, like the last Vikings game, like the game at Houston or at Green Bay, when the Lions were able to withstand some major injuries, that was all well and good. That was fantastic. But when it came to the playoffs, what did the Lions defensive line do against Jaden Daniels? Nothing. I don't want to hear about Eagles and Lions comparisons right now, because what did the Eagles defensive line do to Patrick Mahomes?
The one thing,
a shit ton.
Right, bro, the next show that we did after that, we said, you know what, it was just a completely different level. Could this get us through the regular season? Yes, it could. But when we hit the playoffs, you're playing the best of the best. You're playing the most mobile. Not just the most mobile, the best of the mobile quarterbacks, the best of the arm talent, the best of the trenches. That's where you are, especially when you get to the Super Bowl. And it was interesting to see how the Eagles say, hey, look, we were healthy. And where I take this is this. knock on wood, we hope that the Lions can be healthy the whole season, but they might not be. We still need this team to be somewhat formidable if they want to have an opportunity to punch through and get there. And I do believe having as much help as you can there, no matter how well the defensive line played up this year, that's a testament to the coaches and the characteristic of this team. But you can't tell me that more horses wouldn't be better.
Of course. Absolutely. And WeezyD313, I think, will provide us with the perfect transition. We love skipping over Alim being the final nail in the coffin, but I'll let it go. Well, we're not skipping over it because coming up next, we've seen videos out about Alim in his ACL rehab, and we're going to talk about what his potential return could mean. And
wait, whose comment was that?
It was WeezyD313.
Bro, that is next level trolling, bro. You knew he was going to send that today, so you put that in the show sheet right there.
No.
That is amazing, Flannel Sam.
Flannel would never. Come on, Flannel would never do something like that.
But you're right, Weezy. Alim McNeil. We'll talk about it when we come back. But first, tell us about Lady Jane's.
Hey.
No, Dr. Pierce,
Dr. Pierce. Yeah, attention
Oh,
sports
my fault,
fans.
my fault.
Don't miss out on. Hey, you know what? He's a fan of those hot lather neck shaves, too. I get it. Attention sports
You a
fans.
fan of the secret sauce?
Hey, yo.
You know, everyone want to hear about the secret sauce.
I bet you do.
Pause.
That shit heal you up real quick.
Attention sports fans. Don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday on Big D Energy, every Thursday on Armani Networks, where he's offering top-notch injury advice. You got to trust, you got to DMAC trust, because Dr. Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. We got calling everybody. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesales.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
Hey, what up, though, people? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. JB Smooth, let's get that like poll going, man. We need the chat family. We need to figure out where the Lions fans are, man. We're the ones that want us to add more horses to this defensive line. And you know, one of those horses, Alim McNeil, he's showing to make some progress on that ACL. I think some of you all might have seen some of the videos of Alim McNeil as well. I don't know. Do we have those in the system?
We do not.
We don't.
We do.
Oh,
we do?
Yes, we do.
Come on, dog. That's JB you talking about. That's JB you talking about.
Shout out
man.
JB.
Come on, you guys.
Show it.
We ain't got the videos.
Look at Big Dog. Look at Big Dog. Bro, I remember when we were at the Boys and Girls Club event where we got to interview Bryce Underwood as well as Jerome Bettis. Alim walked in and it was just a presence, man. And that's when you see him, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that's a dog.
Yeah, no, I love to see it. Obviously, coming off an ACL, any sort of bending of the knee is encouraging, and hopefully we get to see more progress videos as he progresses in his rehab, and we'll see when he comes back. But yeah, Alim McNeil, as WeezyD313 said in the chat, we have to admit that even with Aidan Hutchinson out, because of guys like Alim McNeil and guys like Carlton Davis as well, who also missed the end of the year, that the Lions defense in a lot of these games was able to tread water fairly well. And I look at 3 games in particular where Alim McNeil really helped even with Aidan Hutchinson out. That first game at Minnesota, he had 3 pressures, where first game after Aidan Hutchinson, there was a lot of uncertainty. We didn't know what they were going to look like. Turns out they looked pretty good. That game at Green Bay, where they won because of their defense, he had 7 pressures, his season high, and a quarterback hit. And of course, that game at Houston, which was one of the best games I've ever seen him play, 4 pressures, 6 tackles, 1 sack, 2 TFLs, 1 quarterback hit, and played a major role in helping hold Joe Mixon, who was having a phenomenal year, to 46 yards on 25 carries. So Alim McNeil is that dude. When he comes back, hopefully healthy, he will play a major role in this defense, and he did last year. The only issue is that we can be pretty sure that coming into the season, we're going to be starting a season without a fully healthy defensive line, because reports have him coming back in October, which means he's going to be spending the offseason rehabbing and not being a part of OTAs or training camp or anything. But Alim McNeil, he was damn important to this team, and the Lions need him back. He's going to be a big reason why they win the Super Bowl, if and when they win the Super Bowl, as well as Hutch.
Yeah, definitely. With Alim McNeil, it's cool to see these guys working. I know that the expectation is Super Bowl for all of them. The expectation, especially for Alim McNeil, I'm sure getting that money is going out there and improving it every day. And just seeing the way that he's working right now, I know it's not a lot, but like you pointed out, man, being able to bend the knees, being able to get that flexibility back, that to me is showing that he's just on the cusp of that actual offseason workout and being ready to hit the ground running when the season starts. And where my mind goes is this, because I see Jason in Brooklyn in the chat says, "One pride worldwide, let's go. Don't believe we need Garrett, but sure would be dope." And when you look at this defensive line as is, that's why I'm glad that you did make mention of the fact that, hey, listen, if you get these guys back, Aidan, Reader, Alim, and Zadarius, that's a pretty formidable defensive line, especially with some of the rotation pieces that proved themselves this year. And that's where with Alim McNeil, I'm like, you know what? As long as he comes back, obviously he and Aidan Hutchinson, I am confident in this line. I do believe you still need some reinforcements to go along with it. But that's where I kind of turn to you.
Yeah, I mean, the Garrett stuff has only been a thing because he requested a trade. And obviously, you know how I feel. You know how all of us feel, that it's something that the Lions, I wouldn't mind them giving up picks for. I certainly have no trepidations about Myles Garrett whatsoever, but it also doesn't mean that I think that this defensive line, when healthy, isn't going to be formidable anyway. It's just, when we go into next season, we have Hutch coming off an injury, but is probably going to be fully healthy. It's going to be all about the mental side of it. Zadarius playing edge rusher 2 for now. We got DJ Reader. Alim McNeil, though, he is probably going to start the season out. So they're going to have to either tread water or rely on reinforcements that they may or may not get in the offseason.
I want to ask you about some reinforcements, but I do have a question for you and the crew. Is just this, because we are hoping that people are coming back from some pretty major injuries. What is the confidence level right now in that defensive line, based on what we're expecting?
Fully healthy, I think it's enough to get the Lions to the Super Bowl and have them win it, given that their offense maintains as formidable as it is. I think absolutely they can. The only thing with reinforcements like Myles Garrett is that it would put the Lions into a cheat code. And that's really why that's what I want to really make clear on this show. It doesn't mean that the Lions are screwed without a big move at edge, but it would really help them. Their defensive line, if they're healthy, though, I think would be enough.
One more time.
Yes.
Just one more time.
Yes.
Just tell them.
The Lions are not screwed if they don't make a move at edge rusher, but it also gives them less of a margin for error as well. I don't want to be going into a season next year, if avoidable, that if Alim's recovery is a little bit slow, or if Aidan or Za'Darius goes down again, that we're talking about the Lions defense potentially holding them back. But a fully healthy defensive line of Alim, Reader, Za'Darius, and Hutch is damn formidable. But the key word is fully healthy, because who experienced injuries worse last year than the Lions?
Yeah.
We know it can happen.
And that, I guess that's more or less the question,
Yeah.
too. Is just the worry, like, KG, do you have any worries about this Lions defensive line at least getting back to 85% of what they could be healthy?
I have a few concerns. I mean, mostly, Sam, you're not wrong. Like, the Lions wouldn't be screwed if they didn't make a move at pass rusher, but I think we all, can see with our eyes that is the weakness of this team. Like, where is the weakness on this Lions team? Where would you say it is? What position group?
Maybe like cornerback 2 for now, but we expect development from Terrion.
True, but we just made a big investment into our secondary this past year. So I think it goes without saying that pass rushing help is what this team absolutely needs. Now, Alim is somebody, I want him to take his time getting back right, because he is your best interior pass rushing lineman, and that's something that's very rare for defensive linemen to have. And we talk about DJ Reader a lot, but he's real stout in the run game. So you want to be able to have Alim to be able to rush the passer. But if you can get some help on that edge, man, because that continues just to be a question mark. Yes, you have Aidan Hutchinson, but what else do you really have? I mean, we did just get Za'Darius Smith. That's a plus. But people like Josh Paschal, what are we really expecting from Josh Paschal at this point? Other people, Pat O'Connor, can you really rely on that throughout a whole season? Al-Qaeda Muhammad, we love him, but he is not someone who was a premier pass rusher in this league. He just got an opportunity, and he made the most of his opportunity. So I think that they really need to address this pass rushing position. And if you can get some help in the draft, if you can go out in free agency and get a guy, maybe not break the bank, but you just need to do something in order to help elevate you and help the talent that you have already, because a lot of these guys are coming back from major injuries, and you want to be able to take some of that pressure off. That's all.
And the last thing you want, to further your point, KG, is for somebody like Alim McNeil, who I'm assuming by July and by August is going to be feeling pretty good, to feel the pressure of needing to come back too soon. Because we all know that that's the last thing that Alim McNeil needs on a personal and on a professional level, and we certainly don't want Alim McNeil aggravating anything. So any sort of reinforcements, whether it's on the edge or whether it's at the defensive tackle position. And this is where I was doing a little bit of research.
QT in the chat said they definitely need a stopgap for 25. A stopgap DT.
Hey, here's what I have been thinking about. Obviously, with Alim McNeil potentially being out for the first few games or whatever, it's something in which you might have to look at the Lions as they need to tread water. They need to find something to either replace Alim McNeil or to just be competent in Alim McNeil's absence. Obviously, you can look at the draft if you wanted to use the 28th overall pick on the interior defensive line. If Kenneth Grant falls, I will probably bust on the spot and say pick.
Oh, yeah, come on now.
Once Kenneth Grant, I promise you guys that once Kenneth Grant gets to the combine, he'll be a top 15 pick. That dude is going to murder that thing. But there's another interesting thing that I saw on Spotrac, because I was looking at potential free agent defensive tackles, even just as reinforcements. There's obviously someone like Milton Williams, who we all saw show out on the biggest stage, and there's Osa I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name, from the Dallas Cowboys, who's formidable as well. But another name I saw on that free agency list was one Levi Onwuzurike. And I'm not saying that this is the gospel. I'm just going off of what I can go off of right now.
Former $20 million man, according
or
to
not.
Tyler.
Well, according to Spotrack's projected market value, Levi Onwuzurike should cost a team $4.5 million per year. Alim McNeil at Levi Onwuzurike at $4.5 million, given the production that he does coming off his best season, his first fully healthy season. I don't know.
How many
Just saying.
picks does that get on your pick radar? A few.
I don't know if it's pick.
Right. It's definitely not pick. We definitely not doing
A
that.
pick meter for Flannel, especially coming up on draft.
One pick.
Right. One pick. That's it.
For Myles.
One pick for Levi Onwuzurike, but it's just because $4.5 million, man. People forget because he didn't put up huge counting stats, but Levi Onwuzurike was pretty damn valuable last year. He had 45 pressures, which was tied for the 15th most by a defensive tackle in the NFL. And remember, that's Levi Onwuzurike. 15th most might not sound like a lot, but that's Levi Onwuzurike, who gave you next to nothing his first 3 years and finally came out as a nice rotational piece on that defensive line. That might actually be an advantage for the Lions. The fact that he was so injury riddled for the first 3 years of his career. The fact that you never know if you can trust him to stay healthy in the future. They might be able to resign him for cheap. And I've been on the train of Levi's gonna walk. Somebody is gonna overpay him. But if the Lions can get him for $4.5 million, that might make the Alim McNeil being out for the first few games less of a problem, and you still have plenty, and I mean plenty of money to still try to make that Myles Garrett trade and re-sign Carlton Davis.
You could.
I appreciate that outlook because obviously if you get Myles Garrett, you're going to give up some draft picks. If you don't, you still get to go and utilize those draft picks to bring in some more reinforcements. And I still see that's a lot of some of our chat family, they are more in line for the draft. I see Nick Fame says maybe trade up for Grant.
Hey, I'll tell you what, we ain't going to have that 28th overall pick when we trade it for Myles Garrett. Am I right?
You're
Come
right.
on.
That's damn right.
Point. That's the whole point there. But I'm still seeing people
dear
say
Lord.
I don't think Brad trading up
the
much.
draft.
Marked Royal, I hope that you're being sarcastic.
He's not. 9 times out of 10, he's not.
The Lions still... Please tell me you're being sarcastic. I'm begging you, Marked Royal, on my knees. I'm begging you because the type of players
that
I've seen you slander. If you're propping up Broderick freaking Martin, get help. Get a psychiatrist. Please be being sarcastic. I'm begging you. Broderick Martin has given you nothing. Giovanni Manu has had more production as a Lion than Broderick Martin.
No, that's a fact.
And Giovanni Manu hasn't played.
Yeah, Broderick is a question mark,
Mark
to
Royal,
say the least.
I see it.
He's laughing.
I see it. I see it.
Yeah. It's so easy to hit that flannel button, man. It really is.
I didn't go that crazy because I figured he was being sarcastic. Mitten Maid, DeMarcus Lawrence is worth a try. Hey, I love that. So. I love that as a contingency plan if the Lions can't get a big splash trade. DeMarcus Lawrence as a number 2 pass rusher, giving Aidan Hutchinson what he previously gave Micah Parsons. That gets me pretty bricked up as well, not going to lie.
You got a Josh Sweat out there, too, and I would love a move like that for the Lions, too, in free agency. Somebody that I feel won't break the bank. But as far as Levi, I mean, look how long it took him just to get to this level of production. So I'm not saying that he wouldn't be helpful, especially for the money. If you can get him to come down in price, then, I feel like that'll be a solid move for somebody that can, spot fill in when he needs to, but is primarily your first reserve off the bench. But I don't know, man. You got a new defensive line coach. You have Kelvin Shepard, who is stepping into this defensive coordinator role. And I don't know what he values. I don't know if somebody like Levi Onwuzurike, who took so long in his development, is somebody that they really value to be that guy that you're relying on to be a rotational piece for this team at this point.
Does $4.5 million make the offer a little bit sweeter, though, KG?
Absolutely.
Obviously, overpaying for Levi would be a massive mistake. But if nobody else does...
Yeah,
I'm just saying, as that rotational defensive tackle,
familiar with the system,
right?
Players.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Terrell Lamar, he's kind of thinking in some of the ways that I've been thinking. Yes, I want the help along the line, but I am confident if they're healthy, that the defensive line is going to be right. Terrell Lamar says, I'm worried about Carlton Davis. Maybe we just go get some help at corner. Like you said, you believe CB2 and at linebacker. That's one where when you have a Calvin Shepard, I know that Alexander Anzalone and AG, that bromance was on full display. Anzalone would always post that, but I wonder, is that the same with KG? Not that I'm saying you do anything, KG, with Calvin Shepard. Not that you do anything with the Anzo, but do you go and at least bring in some more reinforcements to that linebacker unit? Or is it look, it's Myles Garrett or bust, clip that however you want, but beyond that, I am looking at those the cornerback 2 position and the linebackers who have not gotten any major contribution to them. They did bring in Jack Campbell, but beyond that, there's been no major free agent acquisition at the linebacker position.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm a little bit more worried about the cornerback position because you never know what if Carlton Davis is a huge priority. You would think that he was because he was really damn good when he played. I think that was this season for Carlton Davis was the best season he's ever had, even over his prime Tampa Bay years, but also with Carlton. And I know that it was fluky, like a broken jaw. It almost seems unfathomable during a football game. You never see it. But Carlton Davis is somebody who has had some injury issues. But given what we saw from rookie Ennis Rakestraw and rookie Terrion Arnold, with Terrion Arnold being up and down, but showing some steady improvement, and Ennis Rakestraw, we still don't know what the heck he is. So they need a veteran.
Yeah.
I think Carlton Davis should be a priority, even if you have some concern about his injuries.
I 100% believe so, too. You talking about a guy who Dan Campbell was able to call a shot, and Carlton Davis was able to go out there and make it. And when you talk about the aspects of having a player out there on the team that we hope will be playing, knock on wood, and be able to contribute as it relates to coaching up furthermore Terrion Arnold, coaching up Ennis Rakestraw, who we have all big hopes for. We're all big fans of Ennis Rakestraw, but we want to see him be able to go out there and perform on the field. I do believe having a guy like Carlton Davis who can perform on the field and be able to give them as much mentorship as possible is what you want. I was hoping that that would have been something like an Emmanuel Mosley, but obviously the injuries have kept him down. We know that he has a wealth of knowledge to be able to give, but you also need somebody that you know is going to be in those trenches with those guys on the field, and that's where Carlton Davis, who was really, really, really good last year, is somebody that I'm hoping, if they can make it happen, definitely make it happen. We're talking about the differences between a Super Bowl run with having at least a veteran cornerback or two out there on the roster versus going out there with really no vets. I do believe that Darius Slay helped, tremendously as a vet in that backfield for the Eagles. It wasn't just those rookies that were going out there doing their thing, but they had some vets out there that were able to run with them. And that's where, when I look at a Carlton Davis, I feel like he can be that for these young guys, even if we go and get more help through the draft.
Yeah, and right now at this stage, other than the veteran mentorship, which is a thing, right now, I mean, Carlton Davis is better than Darius Slay at this stage in his career versus at this stage in Darius Slay's career. And I saw an interesting, and I know this has turned into a cornerback segment, which I love. I absolutely love how it can happen because the chat sometimes programs the show. Shout out Neil Rule. I saw Desert Stallion in the chat mention a contingency plan as a free agent if the Lions either can't or don't want to re-sign Carlton Davis. What about Charvarius Ward? I know that Charvarius Ward, he had a rough year last year, a rough year in terms of his personal life. He had some tragedy happen, and he did not have a good year. His market value is projected at $15 million a year, which is about what you'd probably have to pay Carlton Davis, and he's looking for a bounce back. I get it that Carlton Davis is more of a known commodity in Detroit, and I would prefer that, but if Carlton Davis is somebody that the Lions let walk, I think that is a priority that the Lions should make in free agency. Get another veteran. Get somebody like a Charvarius Ward. And we'll have this conversation more as time goes by. But that's just, I saw that in the chat, and I thought it was intriguing.
If you can't sign CD3, I guess I'd be okay with it. But to me, that's a clear downgrade. And that's no disrespect to Charvarius Ward. He's solid. but compared to what CD3 was bringing you and giving you, that's a downgrade in my opinion.
I just don't want people to be too sullied by what happened last year.
Right,
he was
right.
very good the year before. Just last year, whatever could go wrong for him did. And
right.
It's unfortunate, and hopefully he has that hunger and drive that, let's say, an Aidan Hutchinson and Alim McNeil have to come back, although their circumstances were just a little bit different. But
Carlton Davis had a down year, when we signed him.
He
so
did.
I'm with that, but at the same time, I'm not in the market for reclamation projects at this point. I feel like the Lions are in a position now to where we need to know what we're bringing into the building, and they need to be productive as soon as they hit the field. And not to say that he wouldn't, but like I said, that's a clear downgrade in just the terms of the players that we're talking about.
Yep.
So I think the Lions, just as far as the reclamation projects go, I just think it's time out for that.
No,
that's just me as a fan.
I get it, and I see a couple people in the chat, Jay and Xavier D, bring up Amik Robertson, which, Amik Robertson I think is going to be big for the team, whether it's playing the outside or the inside. That's probably at this point in his career, given what the Lions are and what they have at their disposal right now, his greatest asset is his versatility and, of course, the fact that he is a veteran as well and he's been in the system. Even with Amik, even with Terrion, even with Ennis Rakestraw, assuming that they all come back healthy, I would like one more veteran. And hopefully it just ends up being Carlton Davis, because the Lions, they can do this. Whether or not they want to make other bigger moves or not, they can bring back Carlton Davis. They've got plenty of money to do so, and I don't think Carlton Davis is going to be one of those bank-breaking corners, although he'll probably cost you at least $15 million a year, and you're probably going to have to give him a little bit of term.
And at least you know what he can do, though. It's not like you're going out there to give him the money and you're wondering. The output that he had with the Detroit Lions, the way that he carried and represented himself as a Detroit Lion, that's what I want out there, man. And the confidence that he has playing the game, still mixed in with that aspect of team humility. I just want Carlton Davis on our team. I believe that the type of injury he had, it's not going to affect his playing. It was a jaw injury. And so that's why I'm just like, you know what? Let's go. If this was a knee and he's getting older or leg or something, maybe you're thinking about, can this affect output going forward? But I do believe when you're talking about this short window, when you're talking about players who want to come here, I think it's an energizing time to be a Detroit Lion, especially for a player like Carlton Davis, who's probably seeking to get back to the top of the NFL world before he hangs him up.
He's another one, just like, and here's where I'll wrap a bow on this all, because it started with Alim McNeil, but I think Carlton Davis is directly related. Yeah. Those are two players who I think believe in their heart of hearts would have made a difference in that Commanders game. I'm not going to sit here and say if they would have played, the Lions would have definitely have won, because I don't want to do that anymore. But Alim McNeil probably feels that he would have gotten a little bit more pressure on Jaden Daniels. He might have played a part in preventing Brian Robinson Jr. or Austin Eckler for having big games. And Carlton Davis probably feels the same way when it comes to potentially guarding Terry McLaurin or De'Ami Brown. I'm not saying that they would have won the Lions with those guys, but those guys have a hunger and a desire, and they feel in their heart of hearts that even if it was because of injuries, things that they couldn't control, that they let the team down. They certainly did not. Injuries are a part of the game, but it's the player's mentality, it's the competitor's mentality, and I hope that they both come back with a vengeance, Aidan Hutchinson as well, and I personally hope that Carlton Davis does it as a part of the Detroit Lions. Coming up next, though, we got to talk about the Tigers, because there was a lineup posted on the Woodward Sports socials, a potential lineup, which you could be seeing opening day, you could not, we'll see. I thought it was very interesting, but first, JB Smoove, tell us about Jars.
Oh yeah, Jars Cannabis.
Get rail.
Skiers and snowboarders, attention, get ready to send it on a 14-foot drop-in with 3 custom features at the brand new Jars Cannabis Utica location parking lot this Saturday from 1 to 5 p.m. It is a jam-style competition judged by 3 guest pros, $8,000 up for grabs, and a lot more. So I hope you're ready. Register over at jarscannabis.com/JarsRailJam to sign up. Skiers, snowboarders, you must be 21 or older to participate, and there are only 50 slots available, so you got to make sure you are one of those. Remember, D-Mac and Stick will be doing a special broadcast from 2 to 4 p.m. there as well too. Spectators are always welcome. The event is free to attend. There's free food with any jars cannabis purchase, live DJs, and even more giveaways for you as well too. Drop in, cash out, and you know what? Get real.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
It's the Les Stanford Sign and Drive sale. Get a 2024 Envision for only $239 per month, or try out the 2025 Sierra Crew Cab Elevation for only $249 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV for only $789 per month. With $0 security deposit, $0 duet signing, $0 first payment, $0 acquisition fee. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory at the Sign and Drive sale. Les Stanford Buick and GMC, LesStanford.com.
Still need that suck.
What up, though, people? Welcome back. It is Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you guys for choosing to kick off your day with the WUW Crew. Chat family, if you could, go ahead and smash that like button. Let's run up the likes on a Tuesday. And you know what? We got to talk about these Detroit Tigers. Opening day is on the way. And after what they did last season, there's a lot of fans who are believing again. They made the playoffs. They pushed the Guardians to the brink. They made some improvements this offseason. They did take a swing. They struck out on Bregman.
They did.
But you made a statement on this show that you still believe that this is a team that's going to be competing in this AL Central, have a chance to win it. And you know what? Our social team, they put something out there. I gotta get your takeaway on this, man.
They put out a lineup. Go ahead and flash that, JB. The potential lineup that our social team put up. As you see, we got Parker Meadows in center, Matt Vierling in right for those audio only, Riley Green in left, Kerry Carpenter at DH, Gleyber Torres at second, Colt Keith at first, Jace Young at third, Trey Sweeney at short, and Jake Rogers at batting ninth in the catcher position. Hey, I'll tell you what. Oh, man. Will, You look like you're about ready to talk to me.
We'll
man.
have
You
a
look like you're
connection
about ready to,
here.
like, jump out.
My man,
I'm
out
having
there,
a heart
Chris.
attack at seeing this. What the hell? I'm a Tigers mark myself, but having Matt Veland, that's a good one. Riley Green, who always been improvement every year, and you got Gabriel Torres and Keith Cole. Cole was solid last season, but first baseman, I'm a little whiffy on that one. And Jake Rogers, he never disappoints. He could be inconsistent, but when he's consistent, he could go. But I'm iffy on this one.
Interesting. You know what? I actually, before I give my full reaction on this, KG, the floor is yours.
No Javi, so I'm all on board. I can take this lineup seriously because there's no Javi on it. But I mean, I think it's pretty solid. I might switch Glaber and Veerling. But it's picking apples and oranges at this point. But I think this is a pretty solid opening day lineup. I think this is pretty close to what we'll actually see.
Kool-Aid, go ahead. I want to.
I was gonna ask the chat family.
Yeah.
I want to know their opinion as well because I'm seeing like the wild swings. Jay Henney, this lineup absolutely blows, and then Adam Shally, young roster, but I'm excited.
Absolutely blows.
It's like the polar opposites here. But for me, I'm with KG as it relates to what. There is no Javi. We're not asking the questions of Spencer Torkelson. Just let him figure it out, whatever he can figure out. This is a lineup to me that's more answers than questions of the past. And that's what I really like about this. You're moving forward with some players who you're expecting take the next step forward. So either you believe in your organization, you believe in the development that you've seen these players make, you believe in what you're going to do to help them get ahead. And ultimately, that's what I love about it. Like, we're not asking questions about why is Javi in there. We're not asking questions about how long are we going to wait for Spencer Torkelson to be that guy. You're going in with a lineup that you're just saying, hey, this is a lineup that's just supposed to be here and do work. That's what I like about Jake Rogers being there. That's what he is. That's what he symbolizes. Just go do work, and that's what this reminds me.
The only problem with this lineup is that there's an absence of power, and I think we can all say that. And Sam, there's no disrespect to Riley Green. We got the same last name. He really my cousin. But the fact that we haven't seen this guy hit 30 or more home runs in a season yet, so I don't know if we can really count on him to be the consistent power source in that 3 spot. That's it. That's the only criticism.
And Jay Henney says, I love Riley Green, but he can't be your best position player on a championship team.
Right. And I'm kind of in agreement with that. Kind of.
See, here's the thing, and maybe y'all are going to say that I'm a slap. I am an admitted Riley Green slappy.
You are.
Me, slappy, happy, slappy, good time, Riley Green. But that being said, and this is me being as objective as can be, do you know how many Fs that I give that Riley Green has never hit 30 home runs in a season? 0.0. I think this whole idea of, oh my God, there's no one in the lineup that can hit 30 home runs, the humanity, the horror. Oh my God, this lineup is going to win you 66 games. Obviously, I'm trolling a little bit there, but I think that's a little bit overblown. I think when it's all said and done, and people are probably going to call me, Flannel Bean or a Chris Bot at this point, which I am Flannel Bean, but I am by no means a Chris Bot. I think we're going to be looking back, and I truly mean this, and say that the Tigers had one of the most underrated good off seasons in the entirety of MLB. Because I look at this lineup, I look at Gleyber Torres, I look at this lineup as a whole. I think that it is more than enough to get the Tigers to the AL Central title, given the fact that their pitching staff is going to be so damn good. Formidable. I look at the Jack Flaherty acquisition as your number 2 starter, going back to the place where he had the most success in his career with Chris Fetter, had an ERA under 3 and a WHIP under 1. I think he can duplicate those numbers. Getting a Tommy Kahnle in the bullpen to further the already formidable bullpen and give the Tigers some extra help just in case one of the young guys falls off. And then, of course, Gleyber Torres. I think that the Tigers are still going to win the AL Central. And I have some fun facts about each one of these players in the lineup that I think will at least provide some levity and some evidence as to why I think this lineup is a lot better than people give it credit for. JB? Or you want to go first, KG?
Oh, no, and I was just wanted to follow up. I mean, I don't disagree with you, Sam, but this is still a game that's dominated by home runs. And just imagine if we had just one guy, a consistent power guy to add to this lineup. I think that would make a world of difference. And, yeah, sure, if you want to play the small ball, that's fine. But if you're going to have a good pitching staff and you're going to play that way, you need guys that aren't going to be putting up 600 to 800 OPSs. You need a little bit more. And that's something that we ran into last year. You know, when we hit those summer months, we saw, you know, a lack of offense. And that's something that, as a Tigers fan, I'm still kind of concerned about because they haven't done a ton to fix that. That's all.
I'm glad you mentioned the OPSs because OPS is going to rain heavy in the facts that I gave. So, JB, would you please put up these facts about this supposedly bum-ass lineup?
Very bum-ass.
Parker Meadows, 857 OPS post-call-up. We know he was terrible to start the year offensively, but once he got called up, he was an all-star level player to end the year. Matt Vierling, 735 OPS throughout the whole season. Not elite, but you need a guy like Matt Vierling in your lineup. Riley Green, all-star, enough said. Kerry Carpenter, 932 OPS in a shortened season, but still, 932 is pretty damn great.
But he was injured most of the year.
That's fine, but when he played, he was elite. Gleyber Torres, 811 OPS versus lefties. We need a guy like that in our lineup that hits lefties, given the fact that it's a pretty lefty-heavy lineup with Kerry Carpenter, Riley Green, Parker Meadows. I think Gleyber Torres gives the perfect counter to that. Colt Keith, 754 OPS post-April. We know that his March and April, his numbers were terrible, but after that, he was pretty damn good. Jace Young, 362 on base percentage. Did he hit with any power? No, but he did get on base, and he's a seventh hitter. Trey Sweeney, 719 OPS prior to catch at Baltimore, that season-saving catch. And the only reason I bring this up is because our guy Nick on the heavyweights, shout out Nick, he was the first one to really lend credence to this, that something may have happened. He may have gotten a little banged up when making that catch because he collided with Riley Green. His numbers fell off a cliff after that. Before that, he was very, very good. And because he didn't fit on the first graphic, I made another one. You can put it up or you can't. I'll just tell you. Thank you, JB. Jake Rogers wasn't great offensively in the playoffs, but he had a 360 on-base percentage in the playoffs. So all of those things in unison, I think, create a good lineup. At least a good lineup if everybody plays to their capability. Am I saying that everybody is going to play up to their capability?
That's the problem.
That is potentially an issue, but that's all I can go off of right now, is that each of these guys have potential, and some of these guys have had large stretches of being really good, and all I'm talking about are what these guys did last year. I didn't even tell you about Gleyber Torres' lifetime OPS against left-handed pitching. It's all based on what they done last year.
And when you look at the lineup, though, and you're going to pay a manager like A.J. Hinch, then it looks like it's a lineup, at the very least, that's made for him to be able to have some success with the style of his managership. Obviously, we talk about manufacturing runs. You're going to want some players that have some pretty decent OPSs. So you're going to want some players that can find their way on base, because we know what A.J. Hinch can do once his players are on base. And that's what we said last year, that this team is going to have to depend on that. And we saw it was like, hey, for lack of a better word, dynamite at the beginning of the season. You had the pitching playing very well, and A.J. Hinch able to pull the strings just enough to get what we consider to be timely hitting. And so if you're going to strike out on a Bregman, if you're going to strike out on maybe some targets that you're looking at least field a team or a lineup that works with your manager. But this is where to be a fly on the wall of, Chris Ilitch and Harris and A.J. Hinch's meetings, because if I'm A.J. Hinch, and it was kind of veiled in his comments last year, I still want a little bit more, especially when he was talking about the Javi stuff. Remember the comments and he was speaking? Mm-hmm. I'm like, he's telling the management he wants something done. And that's where I understand. I agree with both of you all. If you're going to go into the season right now, I believe that this lineup works with A.J. Hinch, but I do believe you don't hurt yourself by having some extra power.
No, and there would have been nothing wrong with Bregman. There would have been nothing wrong with another move. I'm trying to live in what is. I'm trying to enjoy the team. I see a lot of people, in particular Chuck Brewer, who are going to be spending this whole team just hate watching the team, just with this look on their face every time they lose a game. Oh, that confounded Chris Ilitch, oh, those confounded Tigers, they're going to win 60 games, and I'm going to come back in victory lap.
But, Sam, you know how supportive I am of the Tigers.
I know.
Do you think it's fair I have this criticism, though? Because you're relying on a lot. You need step-ups from a Trey Sweeney, a Colt Keith. You need Gleyber Torres to come in here and hit above 250. Like, you're relying on a lot of stuff that needs to come through in order for this to work.
See, but my thing is, and this is something that Chuck Brewer said, which I think is probably the most asinine thing you've ever said in the chat. Folks are counting on a 10-leg parlay. Do you really think they're down that bad? Every single thing that I put on my list, if you want to flash it again, JB, except for the Jake Rogers stuff, feel free to do that. It is stuff that they have done. I understand that with Parker Meadows, it was a very small sample size. With Kerry Carpenter, his issue is being hurt. But with a guy like Riley Green, a legitimate all-star, finally had a season in which he was relatively healthy. With Matt Vierling, he not only had a 700-plus OPS this year, he had that last year as well. Gleyber Torres is a guy who's had a lot of success in Major League Baseball. He's a veteran. He has an 854 career OPS versus lefties. I get it that there's a lot of young guys, but everybody in this lineup, those are not things that they could do. Those are things that they did. And that's why the whole 10-leg parlay, how down bad do you think the Tigers are? Do you think they're the White Sox? That's a real 10-leg parlay. The Tigers have legitimate dudes, and you didn't even mention their pitching. Their pitching might be the best in the whole bleeping major leagues.
That's where my question to at least you, chat family, so we know and we can be able to check and gauge the temperature is, do you believe that the Detroit Tigers are a more improved team over last year in the pitching department and a more improved team over last year as it relates to their lineup? And that's where I'm like, look at what they did last year. You see how everything, especially after they made some tweaks at the trade deadline, everything worked. Everything turned up 7.77s for AJ Hinch in the moves that they chose to make, to the tune of being one of the best teams. I try to put a cap on it. I'm like, one of the best teams over the last 10 to 20 games of the season. And the chat family goes, no, Kool-Aid. It was the last 40 games of the season. That's a huge sample size of you give AJ Hinch. Like, look, we know who our owner is. I'm happy to know that he went out there, even though he struck out. But to know this, if you're going to have an owner that's going to really play the money ball of it, this is where I do appreciate Flannel's ability to break down, hey, look, if you're not going to go out there and get these types of players and pay for these guys, at least they've done something that I do believe will work even better than last season when we saw AJ Hinch, Fetter, and these guys put together magic, man.
But the pitching was never the problem with this team. It was the offense. Pitching is great, and, you know, I love having great pitching, but if you're not giving them run support, you know, what is it all for? So, and I'm not saying that they can't help this pitching staff, but I have a lot of the same worries that if we get into a slump like we did last year, will it look like last year? Because there was a absence of offense for a good stretch of last season, and I think we all forgetting about that.
That the pitching did run out of steam as well, which they were relying on so much to the point that Scooble was worn out. And I think sometimes if the pitching staff was just a little bit better, does that give Scooble just a little bit more in that last game?
I think it does.
But then we're talking about them moving on.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And so it's like, if the pitching is that much better, if it got better over last year, and the hitting got better over last year, and we know who our owner is, you're dealing in the world of where we are, and that is a very, I think it's an important distinction to make with Flannel's point. I think that in terms of improvements, this is where I do agree with KG. I would love to be able to see some power there, but in terms of what we know and how the Tigers operate, at least they're not just throwing players out there and saying, AJ Hinch, make it work, like how it looked in the beginning. Now it seems like they have some more strategic ways that they've been able to bring players in who their stats might not jump off the page in terms of the all-star type stats, but in terms of who these players are and working with the way that AJ Hinch goes out there and manufactures runs, I think that in addition with the improvements on the pitching staff, it gives us something to be excited about.
Well,
not to be like, yeah, we're going to win the World Series, but I think it's going to be a good team.
Will, talk to me. You got something on the
It irks me because one thing they need a piece when it comes to consistency in the offense. They need a designated hitter on the lineup. They need one good, consistent hitter on the lineup. And they don't have to do the job. They just got to hit the baseball. If it hit, or pick somebody that could hit and give you 20 home runs just by being a designated hitter, that'll be fine. But right now, it's no. But y'all depend on pitching, but y'all need the offense. Plain and simple.
Chuck Brewer, no bias and no torque is a huge bonus. But
there you go. So a little bit of positivity, Chuck. Maybe you'll just hate watch them some of the time because you're gonna come back if the Tigers. There's a small part of you, man, that's rooting for the Tigers to be bad. I just know it. I just know how you guys are. Some of you just want to get one over on me so bad.
But KG, was what Willie B? Is that more or less what you're talking about as well? You feel like they just need that consistent kind of threat in the lineup that a pitcher has to pitch around?
Yeah, I mean, that would help this team tremendously. And, they don't have that right now at this point. And I think they can make it work without that, but it will be a struggle, especially when you have guys that are, just barely getting to around 800 OPSs. And there are caveats to some of those stats that Flannel put up. We need to see Parker Meadows be there for a full season and be consistent. We need to see guys like Colt Keith go out there and do it for over the stretch of a whole season. So I'm not saying that they can't, but I'm just saying you are relying on your younger guys to step up. And will all of them step up at the same time? I think it's a fair question to ask at this point. You're still waiting for the Scott Harris draft picks to come in here and take hold and really, be on this team and take an effect. But until then, you're relying on these guys to go out here and compete for a Central title. So I don't take that lightly, especially when last year we all thought the Central was weak and, the Tigers going to have easy money getting there. We were wrong. The Indians are pretty damn good. The Royals are getting better. They have Bobby Wood. They have that guy already in their locker room. So I'm looking forward to what the Tigers can bring because I do think with the success, maybe that will help in their development long term, but we just got to see it on the diamond. That's all.
Where do you have the Tigers currently as positioned? If they don't go out and get that guy, where do you have them in their chances in this AL Central?
I have them as a wild card team, but I feel like with the season we had last year, we should be better. We should be AL Central favorites. But it is what it is. I'll take a wild card. It's fine. If you get in the dance, I'll be okay. But I really feel like they should be competing for the Central at this point.
Is it one bat away?
Yes. I feel like it is.
Fair.
I feel like it is.
Fair. And like I said, I wasn't mad at the potential of Alex Bregman. I'm somewhat encouraged about hearing about the offer that they did give Alex Bregman, that they weren't being cheap about it. I get all of that. Here's what I think will and could happen. I think that Riley Green, and this is just projections. I'm obviously not, this isn't like the gospel. I think Riley Green is going to have a similar season that he did last year and repeat as an all-star. I think that Kerry Carpenter is going to be healthier and be that guy who provides the most power, maybe gives you an OPS of around 850. And I think Parker Meadows is legit. I really do. I think Parker Meadows could be fighting for an all-star spot as well. I know that's a lot of ifs, except when it comes to Riley Green, because we've seen it with him. But we have seen Parker Meadows and Kerry Carpenter at times not just be good baseball players, but dominant in short stretches, but still. Mm-hmm. I mean, Parker Meadows over the second half of the season, after he got called up. Kerry Carpenter over the whole year, even though he was hurt a lot, over 900 OPS. That's pretty damn good. I think, though, that it could account for, and this is where I think some people's logic is off. I don't think everybody in this lineup is going to do their absolute best. It wouldn't shock me if Jake Rogers has a poor hitting season like he did last year in the regular season.
There you go, hating on Jake Rogers.
I know, right? It wouldn't shock me if Trey Sweeney is not the answer at shortstop. But here's the reality of baseball. If you think every lineup has studs all across the board, then I don't know what to tell you.
No, it doesn't.
The New York Yankees, in their do-or-die game when they were down 3-1 in the World Series, had a lineup that consisted of, and obviously the Judges and the Sotos, but it also had Anthony Volpe, Alex Verdugo, and Anthony Rizzo. That's a third of their lineup. And I'm going to quote a phrase that I've heard Sean Belegian say to me, but not on air. You know what Volpe, Verdugo, and Anthony Rizzo were last year?
What?
They were raw butt, no wipe. Awful, horrible, unplayable.
I get the comparison, but their guys are guys.
I know.
Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, they make up for 2 players.
I'm counting on
each one of those guys make up for 2 players.
But I said I'm counting on Parker Meadows and Riley Green being dudes. I'm not saying they're going to be Judge and Soto, but still. Judge and Soto are maybe the 2 best hitters in the league with Ohtani. But the Tigers' pitching is better than the Yankees' pitching was last year.
No, that's a fact.
Hey, bro, I love how you accredited Sam Belizean for that quote.
He had me dying about that. But that's what they were.
Right.
There weren't superstars in the 9-hole. The Dodgers had Gavin Lux. The Dodgers had Tommy Edman, who was really good in the playoffs, but only played 37 regular season games.
He was damn
You
good
know
in the
who
playoffs,
else were playoff demons but poor regular season players last year? Justin Henry Malloy and Jake Rogers. Stuff happens. I just and I don't want to be, like I said, I'm not a Chris bot. I wasn't opposed to Alex Bregman. I don't have this fetish to see them do it Moneyball, even though that's kind of my instinct. I'm trying to avoid that. But if it has to be the way that it is, I am going to choose to look at this positively. I wasn't gonna prop up the Tigers no matter what they did. If they had a lineup full of guys whose, more on-base percentage and OPS numbers were bad, I would tell you. But I'm finding ways with certain metrics to see this as a AL Central winning team, given what I think of their pitching staff, which I think it's elite.
Because most fans will also believe this. Philly, no home run hitters want to play in Detroit. Comerica is a Grand Canyon. And when you think about that fact, that could be a case. So that's where, again, I continue to say, at the very least, if you're going to do something, please do not trot out the corpse of Javi Baez,
right.
The question
Every
of
day.
Spencer Torkelson, and some of these other players we're waiting on. It's like we got some guys in the pipeline that we hope in the future are going to play some very integral parts to a World Series run. And we got players right now that we do know. I think Aidan Hutchinson is one of the best managers in the game. Can, I believe, press the buttons a little better this year than last. But I do hope if there is an opportunity for this team to go out there and snag some threat of power, that Chris Ilitch is in position to go on ahead and do that. And that's why I am encouraged by at least the Alex Bregman news. It wasn't just rumors, but confirmed that the Lions knocked on the door. The Lions offered the years. The Lions just weren't going to be no punk bees about it. No, you're not getting out of here after. No, we said when you can get out of here. And I do appreciate him for setting the table that way. But I do wonder, when you look at Philly's comments, we know what the canyon that Comerica Park is. Yeah, but and now you're telling these hitters effectively, hey, it's going to be our way or the highway.
Yeah, money talk bullshit walk, though. You can pay for a hitter to come into this ballpark and perform. We had a Miguel Cabrera. We had a Prince Fielder. We had a V-Mart. These are people that were very capable of hitting home runs in Comerica. If you pay the money, you can get a hitter in here that can hit in Comerica Park.
Well, did they trade for them, though?
Well, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it might. That's why I'm like, acquisition market might be that way. I don't know, but
it's a good point.
I do want them to be able to get somebody.
Yep. Hey, Will mentions Gary Sheffield as well.
Yeah.
Love me some Gary Sheffield, but
you can have home run hitters in Comerica. Is my point,
and I think the thing that I certainly didn't say on the show, which I should have when it comes to the Alex Bregman thing, Alex Bregman has a 1,200 lifetime OPS at Fenway Park. I get that angle of it as it being a tiebreaker, a park where it is more hitter friendly. I mean, they do have the monster, but it's only 310 to straightaway left field. Some hits that would be pop-ups in Comerica Park would be off the wall shots at Fenway. So I get that angle of it, but I am glad that the Tigers at least tried. And at the end of the day, and I'm not doing this whole he sucks anyway thing, but at the end of the day, there is a chance that the Tigers did dodge a bullet with the Alex Bregman thing. I hope that they did. Even if he gives you even if his next 4 years are great, it'll prove that the Tigers very much did not dodge a bullet. But there's a chance. 6 years is a lot of term for a guy like that.
Would you have wanted them to just give whatever terms to Bregman, KG?
I wouldn't have went over this. I wouldn't have went over the 6 years. I thought what they offered him was pretty solid. Like if he didn't want to bite at that, if he didn't want to bite at that, then he probably didn't want to be here.
Yeah, and for the record, given Alex Bregman $40 million a year, which that's what the Red Sox did with opt-out possibilities, that makes my head explode because, as I said before, Aaron Judge makes $40 million a year.
Right.
Less term, obviously, but still. The only two position players that make more than $40 million a year are Shohei Ohtani and Juan Soto. Ohtani, Soto, Judge, Bregman. It's like Ohtani, Soto, Judge, Bregman. No disrespect. Bregman's a damn good player, but like $40 million a year.
Put it in perspective.
And he controls the opt-out. So if he wants to continue to make the organization bleed, he can do that.
And maybe and maybe somebody like Alex Bregman, you know, seeing how well he's hit in his career at Fenway Park, wants to potentially have this monster year and get another shot at free agency in this offseason. Because, as I've said before, this past season for Alex Bregman was not his best. He was still very good. He was still very productive, but his OPS was in the 7s. I think it was like 760. And Alex Bregman probably fancies himself as somebody who, given playing half his games at Fenway Park, can maybe get it into the 850s or maybe even low 900s and get an even bigger payday.
Man, oh man, oh man. I didn't know Tigers was going to be this type of conversation.
Can I dream for a second?
Go for
dream.
it.
Vlad Jr. Has not reached an agreement with the Toronto Blue Jays, so I'm just saying.
Dream it, man.
Just let me dream.
I would give lots for that. I'll just say that. Even Moneyball Flannel would love me some Vlad Jr. Because Vlad Jr. right now is 3 times the player that Bregman is.
Not even close.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Right.
I see people
No
in the
disrespect
chat
to
talking about
Bregman.
it too.
Vlad's a beast.
Dante 151. Hey, Vladdy and the Blue Jays couldn't reach a deal. Like, yeah, man. I am confident about these Tigers. So I do believe we're gonna have playoff baseball this season. But KG, you won it all.
I do, and I feel like I deserve it all after a fucking decade of losing. I'm sorry. It was so nice to have that moment last year, and I guess that's why I'm so passionate about it. We went so long without playoff baseball in this town, and when the Tigers are good, Detroit is just a better city, man. So I would like to see them be in positions to actually compete. And we have the money. We have the what's the word I'm looking for? We have the cachet as a franchise. Like, the Tigers are a good franchise in the MLB. I just feel like we should be going for it a little bit more.
You know, I'm going to save this one for Mailbag. Chuck Brewer. Sam, what do you offer Toronto today to get him? And I know, KG, that's your dream. Hey, think that up, man, for Mailbag, because I know we do got everybody's favorite segment on the way as well. What's trending?
Yes, everybody's favorite segment. And Will's saying in the sound booth that he still opines for the Jim Leland days, and I do not blame you one bit for that. Those were some magical times. But JB, tell us about Soroki's.
Soroki's crispy chicken and pizza. They still are continuing on their football wings deal that they have going on right now. 7 signature flavors that you can see up on screen. Grab your friends, order a New York style pizza, and add on some fresh wings to that order as well. You know what? If you don't have time to go in store, you can always check out their full menu online at Sorokis.com.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. We got everybody. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey, what up, dope people? Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. And you know what? I think it's time to get sparking word to jars, Mr. JB Smooth.
Let's do it.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
JB.
Let's rock.
What's going on, chat family? What's up, fellas? Hey, I got a couple videos for you guys. I'm pretty sure everyone has seen this video before. It happened over the weekend. But just know, I'm pretty sure, bro, you got fired on Monday.
It's over.
No.
It's over.
Oh, come on. Upside down.
Bro, what?
Yep.
How does that even happen?
How did...
I don't know.
So is that on the people that hung the banner, or is it on the people that made the banner? Because the banner appears like
it's gonna have the little grommets on one end of it.
Yeah,
so
like
somebody did something wrong. But if you hang it upside down, that's on you.
Yeah.
You can't. Oh, this is upside down.
Yeah, that's tough.
Dog.
Or maybe they like got to the point where it was like, hey, we can't fix this, so at least it's up.
Just
like,
give him his moment at the very least.
Yeah.
At least it'll go viral.
Upon which it
that's
did.
Tough, man.
All right, so first thing I thought was, damn good player, got drafted, all of that. Yeah. Why the hell is Terrence Shannon getting his number retired?
He probably went crazy at, what was that, Illinois?
No, he was very good, but I think that role should be reserved for, like, if they retired, because I was looking at Illinois' history of who got their numbers retired. I see D. Brown, I see Darren Williams, I see Kendall Gill. Like, I can F with that.
Kendall Gill.
But I see also, I mean, Luther Head, I don't mind that. Yeah. But, like, Kofi Coburn and Terrence Shannon, they didn't win anything. And I'm not saying that they were bad, particularly Terrence Shannon, but I don't think he should get his number retired. Like at Michigan, for example, I could see like Juwan Howard or Jalen Rose, Chris Webber, Glenn Rice, all of that. But I wouldn't retire Manny Harris's number, for example.
Right.
I like big Manny Harris fan right here, but still, you know what I'm saying.
Did Terrence Shannon break any records for Illinois?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
That could be another reason why they retired him, if he broke
fair.
a record or two.
But that's tough, man. You're honoring a guy and you put the jersey upside down.
Yeah, that's bad.
Tough. Look at that. He is pissed off too.
Just like surprise.
Right.
Oh
man,
yeah.
That's tough.
Sorry, Terrence, but they just had to do it to you. I don't know. That's bad on their part. But
should have went to Michigan.
Probably should have went to Michigan. Who knows? I don't know. But you guys ever had a parade starting at noon and then a Zoom meeting at 1? Well, you do now.
Oh yeah.
My man is at the Eagles parade winning the championship, and he is on call.
Man,
gotta make that money.
Zoom meeting.
Hey, this is gonna be me at the Lions parade when we got to do the show the next day. I'll be like, yeah, hey, sorry y'all. Like,
I couldn't make it to the studio.
He gonna be remote doing the sounds.
We will have to be able to go to the parade. There's no way, right?
We have to be live there.
We have to. Even if we don't have a place to broadcast, just set up the VMix link, send us all one, and we'll be all down there, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to link up with y'all later.
Or get
No, we're gonna be at them parties I was telling you about.
I don't know what kind of parties you talking about.
Sponsor parties.
No, Kool-Aid know a thing or two about parties. I bet you do. Out there diddling and shit. We know what you was doing in the bay. We know what you was doing in the bay.
Flag. I wish I had a whistle right there.
Flag on a play. Flag on a play.
I'm out of bounds. It's just because I missed you, bro. That's all.
Lashing out. I
we
see.
Missed you, Kool-Aid. Just know that we missed you. And you know what? We've all had those bad days on the court. Am I wrong?
Of course.
Yeah.
Never lost.
Never lost. Okay.
No, that's a bad day.
Well, hopefully you didn't have as bad as day as she did.
Oh,
damn.
Oh my God!
You had a bad day.
Man, somebody help your fallen soldier.
Nope, not gonna do it.
Somebody help your soldier. It's like, man down.
Damn.
They all just looking like, dang, that's tough.
Right?
Walk it off.
That's tough.
She
bro.
must not be well liked. Ain't nobody try to go help her. either.
Nobody.
That's fucked up.
Nobody.
She not well liked on the team.
Like, it's practice, and they just like, well, I guess she's out. Huh?
Right?
Let's just wait.
No, that's that there she go again. She done did this shit multiple times. Like, oh yeah, there go her ass. Falling out in the middle of the gym floor again.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
All that for some attention. Unbelievable. Can't believe it. And finally, I will end what's trending with this because we all know what happens when the coach on the sideline gets a little too aggressive with the referee. You know, could get suspended. You could get thrown out of the game. You know, foul shots happen. But have you ever seen what happens when a ref gets a little too close to a coach? Pow! Face!
Oh.
Damn! Down my face!
In the face.
Get out my
finger in the
face.
face.
That's a foul.
What's a 5 finger in the face?
So can we tee up referees? Can we throw it back at them? Citizens arrest?
It don't make it look better that she was yelling at him like right before. Like, I know you hear her voice getting closer and closer, and then wow,
That's a flagrant too. That ref got to get ejected. That's a flag too, bro. You out of there? Yeah, you out of there.
Hey, Fettle, does this one get flagged?
I mean,
flagrant too.
Depends on what she was yelling. I'm not saying to do it on purpose.
Are you condoning hitting women?
No. I'm condoning that there may be accidents sometimes.
I think that's a woman on woman crime
women's
too.
faces.
Wait, you don't believe in equality?
Get him, Chase. Get him.
Candace is rated E for everyone.
Damn, Flannel. I thought I knew you.
Oh my
man.
God, I see that guy 62 flop.
Chat family, help us understand, man. Is the referee right or wrong?
No, honestly,
Is it woman on woman?
Yeah, that's
Kind of
woman
look
on
like a
woman
man
crime.
from where I'm sitting, but I can't see that well from over
No,
here.
I
man.
thought it was a
The
man
kid-
too, to be fair.
This couch shit is new to me, so it's
I
hard to
swear
see.
was this on purpose or was it accident? That's what I need the chat to tell us because
It could have been on purpose.
let me see this little bit of context. Play it again. Oh, was she trying to call timeout? Okay. All right, well then yeah, just honor the timeout and watch where you're swinging.
Do you have to call a timeout with a hammer fist though? She kind of like came down like some UFC shit. Like,
Oh, she's on the court.
it's a flag too. Get her out of here.
Flag.
Flagrant two. But that's it for what's trending, you guys. Let's hop into the mailbag while we got some time left.
Absolutely. And before we get into mailbag, and put your questions in the chat, by the way, I got to tell you about Feldman. Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit FeldmanAuto.com to find the location nearest you. Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer.
Hey, and we are back. It is time for the Wake Up Woodward Mailbag segment presented by Feldman. So if you all could get those Feldman Mailbag questions in. I see Alan W. already in the chat. Feldman Mailbag. Who do you guys see as the next Pistons All-Star? I'm going to say Asar. We're seeing him handle the ball more, and he's touching the paint or getting assists every time. He's a special player. And, you know, Asar Thompson, he's one of those guys who I do believe is going to become an All-Star for the Pistons. I don't know if he's going to be the next one, but the way that I'm seeing Jalen Duren trending, I believe that he's going to have a great opportunity in the future as well. And hopefully, or maybe, it's a player that the Pistons maybe sign or pick up during the offseason. But Asar Thompson.
I'm going to go with Asar as well. I know that the thing that might count against him is he doesn't score enough, but when you see when he's healthy from the beginning of the season on how much he impacts the game, he'll make it in a similar capacity that, say, Draymond Green would make it. Kind of that role on the All-Star team.
I'm surprised nobody said Jay Ivey. Y'all about to turn me into stick over here a little bit, but You look at, the improvements that he had made this year before he went down, the fact that he was able to go out there and win games in crunch time as well. I think Jaden Ivey could be a future Pistons all-star if he's allowed it the runway to do so. And we all know that he's been stunted at times, but if he's out there and he's on the court and able to score the basketball and do some of those other things, I can see him being an all-star within the next 2 to 3 years.
That's fair. I don't hate that.
I'm rooting for Ivy to bounce back and be an all-star, hopefully. I mean, look, there's a lot invested in him. We are huge fans of him. I don't see Stick anywhere around to pop up to let everyone know that he's an Ivy bro. But still, at the same time, like, hey, we're rooting for you. We hope your recovery's going along a lot faster, and hopefully we'll see you, like, closer to the end of the season. And then next year, hey, belt to ass Pistons. Get it done.
Hey, let's rock, man. Hey, Kavasi Chase, what about you? Who do you think is the closest Detroit Piston to making an all-star after Cade Cunningham now? Who's the next one?
Pastor Kavasi.
Oh, so who's the closest Piston to you, man, to make the all-star game? He's locked in to work right now.
Yeah, Chase GPT all the way right now.
The closest
Yeah,
right
who's
now?
the next one for you? Yeah. Tobias Harris?
You just had to say he got to rebound more. Maybe if he start rebounding more.
I mean, he'll be an all-star at the YMCA, no doubt.
The disrespect.
Well, you don't think he can ball out at the Y?
No, absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, now you're being disrespectful, bro. What are you talking about? I just said he should come off the bench.
Come on, man. I can agree.
I'm going to say...
With Chase.
I'm going to say Jalen Duren just because we got JB Bickerstaff really developing him, and maybe we can see him take a big leap and some decline from some of the other big men in the East.
Yeah. Willie B, what up, though?
Jalen Durham, man, because the guy got the quality of offense and shot blocking ability and rebounding. He averaged a double-double right now. He keep progressing it every year. If you start progressing next year and score a little more and be more aggressive on the defensive end, yeah, he's an all-star all the way. And he got the size, he got the speed and agility.
Yeah.
Jalen Durham is solid.
Yeah. And when you kind of look at the landscape of the All-Stars, I believe Jaden Ivey is going to be an All-Star quality player. When you look at the landscape of it, Jalen Duren, in my opinion, is the one that has the opportunity to actually snag a spot from some of these other younger centers if he continues his trajectory. I'm glad that you said that.
That's a good point.
Finally averaging that double-double.
That's a fact.
Those stocks are going up. I think that in terms of staking a claim, what we once thought about Jalen Duren, I believe he's going to fast approach that as being one of the best young big centers, big men in the game.
He just has to develop his offense a little more.
Yeah.
Once he gets that offense up to maybe like 15 points a game,
I think it's a
wrap.
confidence thing, man. I be seeing things in the practice, in the Pistons performance facility that he doesn't do in the games. But it was a stuff that when you heard them early on, saying, man, Sean Kemp, I was their words. You're right. If they get him developed, start with the basics, footwork, post work, hook shot, short range jumper, that type of stuff.
Make it a 15-footer.
A bank shot.
Because how are they playing through him?
I'm not gonna lie to you. If you get a 15-foot shot, it's over.
Because how are they playing through him now? They're doing hub. He's like the hub. They throw it into the center. He's able to turn around. We've seen his assists be at like 4.5 a game over like the last 10 or 12.
Yeah.
And imagine if they step back because now they know he can make a great pass and he can just like, goodness gracious. All you need is like 2 or 3 of those a game to keep somebody honest, man.
Absolutely.
Sheesh. I agree with that.
He could spit a summer with Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah? Wait, what?
He should spend a summer training with Hakeem Olajuwon.
I feel that. I thought he said he's going to be Hakeem Olajuwon.
No,
I was like,
oh, wait, what?
No.
Train with him.
Yes, train with Hakeem. Yes.
Have a summer with him.
Duren, for real. Train with Hakeem.
Yeah. I love that, man. I love that. Trying to see Dante151 hashtag Feldman Mailbag. Everyone, did you guys see that video of Justin Verlander in a San Francisco Giants jersey?
Ugh.
It looks effing weird, dog.
It's horrible.
But anyway, who has more upside between Sawyer and Tuamalo?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think, and this is just, we might get into it more as we talk about, get more into our draft coverage. Off rip, they both helped themselves out a ton in the college football playoff. Just imagine what their reputations would have been if there was no 12-team college football playoff versus now that we saw them absolutely ball out. I think both of their ceilings are I think both of their ceilings are somebody like Zadarius Smith, a number 2 edge rusher on a team. I don't think they have like Aidan Hutchinson type potential or a Myles Garrett type potential, but they're going to be solid.
Yeah. I need to see more tape on Tua, but Jack Sawyer, and I hate to give him credit. You know, I hate the goddamn Buckeyes, but
credit where
you got to give him credit on the end of the year he had. It was absolutely amazing.
They both just dominated the playoff.
Man, it's crazy to think about the Lions offseason ahead because no matter what approach they take, whether it's selling out to get Myles Garrett, F them picks, whether it's actually going into the draft, whether it's utilizing a little bit of cap space, they're literally going to improve by next season.
Yeah.
That's the great thing to think about when you talk about the Lions, and even with the Tigers, how we kind of parsed it. I still believe that this team did some good things to improve over what they were last year.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like, you know what? Red Wings and Pistons, continue on doing what you guys do. All 4 teams in the playoffs, that would be epic, man.
Love it. Love it.
Is that a show?
Yeah.
I think that's a show. Hey, let's get that music going, Willie B. Look at that.
Big Willie style.
Right here.
Hey, man. Dog, it feels good to be back. You guys welcome me back as well. It feels awesome. Shout out to the chat family as well. You guys, as always, are the most important part of this thing. If you haven't gotten an opportunity to yet, go on ahead and smash that like button for the WUW Crew. It goes a long way to support us, man. If you want to send super chats, do that as well. But I know with that like button, it's free and it helps us, man. It helps to push us out into the algorithm. It helps to tee things up even more for the next show, and the next show, and the next show. But the chat family, appreciate you guys, man. Gonna get this thing broken down. Shout out to our brother Matthew Broder and that dude Justin Cavassier Chase, brother. Thank you for all your hard work. I know he's probably in the headphones, but thank you, brother.
Hey, for sure. Hope you guys are having a good day. Shout out, happy birthday to our guy, Mr. Tom Mazaway. Hope you have a good one. Enjoy your week off, celebrating with your loved ones. Also want to say race in peace to Dale Earnhardt, 24th anniversary of the fatal crash at Turn 4 in the last lap of Daytona 500. So, race in peace, Dale. My all-time favorite athlete. Shout out my dad. Shout out the guys at Seymour Ford. Hope you guys have a good day. Stay warm. It was like 3 degrees this morning, so bundle up. But hopefully we get warmed up next week. The end of the week's supposed to get back into like the 30s. So let's look forward to spring.
Hey, Detroit's #1 draft picks. The camera's right there, man. Hey, doing a lot right now. You're training people like Willie B over here. You're stepping into the social realm. You're doing reels and clips now. Providing great content and great takes here on Wake Up Woodward. It's awesome to see you upgrading, brother. That's KG, Detroit's #1 draft pick, rookie of the year, going for MVP.
Slight work.
Slight work.
It's all slight work, man. But nah, y'all make this possible. So absolutely shout out to everybody in the chat that supports us day in and day out. We really, really appreciate that, man. It does not go unnoticed. Shout out to my boy Kool-Aid. I'm really proud of you, man. Going out there All-Star Weekend, holding it down for the crew. We are going to get to Vegas, y'all. So stay tuned. We are planning some stuff, and maybe you can help the WUW Crew get to Vegas, man. But besides that, let's keep this shit rolling.
Let's go. Hey, the elite booth for today.
Yes,
we got Willie B in the sound booth. What up, though, bro? With the amazing Spider-Man t-shirt on.
That's a fire shirt, by the way. I'm a big Spider-Man guy.
Thank you. And I'm like to shout out to you, Kool-Aid, for giving me a chance to do what I enjoy doing. And I never thought it would happen, but I had to be patient. And I want to thank you for that. And I want to thank KG for training me. For
Hey, it's the crew.
And I love y'all to death, man. I appreciate it, y'all giving me the opportunity to
It's
do
the crew,
what I enjoy.
man. You showed up. You answered a call, and when you came out to the watch party, that was just to see how you interact with the crew. And everybody said we want Willie B on the team. And so for the process, we like to make sure things are in the right way, and then you're able to come in here and thrive, man. I'm glad that you're here and on the team, and it's been dope to see you tapped in, man.
I thank you for appreciating everything.
Willie B, dog. Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth, JB Smooth. What up, though, brother?
Hey, what's going on, chat family? Thanks for tapping in with us today for today's show. Happy birthday, Maz. Shout out once again, RIP to the great Dale Earnhardt. And we missed this yesterday as well, too. Yesterday was MJ's birthday, Michael Jordan. So shout out to him. And Spartans, hey, get it done tonight. 7 o'clock, I'll be watching.
Hey.
It's a big game for them.
Well, you know what, man? The vet of the squad, the vet of the network, that is Flannel Sam. And now I can just say this. Things are just staying the same, and I'm glad for that. And Flannel Sam is still the man.
Hey.
Red Wings correspondent, all sports knower, does a great job at really putting together the show sheet. Shout out to you, Flannel.
Oh, thank you so much. And Real K77, before we sign off, great show, fellas. Go Tigers.
Shout out my dog.
Absolutely. Happy birthday, Maz. R.I.P. Dale Earnhardt. Happy birthday, Michael Jordan. Man, there's just a lot going on. But, yeah, also just wanted to let you guys know that me and Justin have been working on some things behind the scenes that is maybe dropping very, very soon.
Oh, yeah. Woodward Wings, baby.
I'm talking like soon.
I can't wait. I can't wait. And I know you guys have been putting in a lot of work.
Yeah.
I like the smile on his face, man. It's awesome when you can be proud of what you've done because I know how much it's going to honestly enrich Red Wings fans and the Red Wings community. I can't wait. Woodward Wings to the freaking moon. It's your boy Brandon, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Man, chat family, thank you guys for welcoming me back. It feels good to be back. Thank you to the WUW Crew as well. And let's just keep crushing. We got a lot ahead of us. NFL draft, opening day, Pistons and Red Wings playoff runs. And WUW Crew is going to definitely keep you guys informed and entertained. And chat family, have a day, man. Hit that like button. Let's rock. It's been Wake Up Woodward.